The Minnesota Wild Podcast is presented exclusively by Acrisure.
Sorry for the delay, everybody. I'm not as technically advanced as you might think. But we're really excited to have Mike McCarron re-sign with the Minnesota Wild. After trading for Mike at the deadline this year, he's become an integral part of the team. I know in the locker room he's a very popular guy, with his teammates, and most importantly, the way he performed on the ice proved to us that he was somebody that we wanted to be in business with for the foreseeable future. So we're extremely happy to have Mike on a long-term deal. We're happy for him and his family that they're going to be part of the Minnesota Wild for a long time. So with that, I will start taking your questions. Aaron's going to help me out here.
Go ahead, Jess. Hi. Hey, Billy, it's Jess Myers. Just wanted to know, in terms of like off-season priorities, where this one ranked for you and just how good this is to get it out of the way on June 9th as opposed to, after July 1st.
Yeah, I mean, they're all important. All the guys that are free agents and part of the team are really important. Mike proved to be one of those guys. And we just really wanted to get this done. We didn't want Mike, to get to market. We know he was going to be a very popular guy, but we just felt the fit with us. Like I said on my opening remarks, between the way his teammates feel about him, the way the coaching staff feels about him, the way I feel about him, and his desire to stay here, it just made it a perfect fit.
Thank you.
You there, Joe?
Yep, there I am. Sorry. You obviously like Mike a lot at the deadline to acquire him, but what kind of things did you learn about him kind of under the hood when you had him those couple months that you maybe I don't know if it surprised you, but kind of added things that you learned about him that you didn't know before?
Well, I think Mike's ability to play up the lineup. I know he knows exactly what he is, what his role is. But I think when you saw us, get plagued by some injuries, Mike had the ability to move up the lineup for short periods of time and did a really good job. The fact that he's a great teammate, he shows up every night, and all the other things that he just provides on the ice was great. But I think his impact, his personality, the chemistry in the room, all those things play into this. But I guess if you're asking for the one thing that did surprise me was his ability to play up at certain times in the games.
And he had mentioned after this season how much he loves it here, but how hard of a decision it would be, knowing this is probably the first time he'd have a pretty decent-sized contract after all the kind of moving around he did in his career. How much did that kind of play into kind of the negotiations there on terms of term and the protection for him and his family, I guess? Yeah,
listen, it's a two-way street. We try to work with the players and their agents. There are certain things in negotiations that we would like to accomplish as a team, and there are things that the players would like to accomplish. As they're free agents, they're in business for themselves. Mike's been on a series of 1 or 2 year contracts his entire career. And I think that's the term of this deal is something that he was really looking for. The term helps us keep the AAV down. And like I said, we try to work with the player, with the agent, and find some common ground. And I really think we all got to satisfy needs and wants.
Is there any updates on other UFAs? I know you've had interest in Zuccarello, and obviously there's Tarasenko out there. I wasn't sure if there's anything else on that front that's, moving closer towards that.
No.
And there'll be a lot of, I'm sure, movement towards the draft at trades and all that trade talks. Is it more of a balancing act of maybe being patient with UFAs, knowing what could also be in the hopper there? Is there kind of a level of, I guess, patience with your own UFAs, knowing what you know of them already, and then waiting to see what happens the next few weeks before you kind of decide that route?
We'll deal with the other guys later. Today, just talking about Mike.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Hey, Bill, how long would you say this negotiation lasted?
Oh, it was a couple weeks. It wasn't too long. It wasn't a. It was a good process. There was, I think I like to think we give their side clarity on what we're looking for. They definitely gave us clarity on what they wanted, and it was a painless procedure or process. It was good working with Wade Arnott, and Mike was on board with trying to get something done with us. So we really worked together, and yeah, it was a good process. Not too long.
And just, how encouraged were you? We're happy just that, he did skip free agency and there was enough here, obviously, besides the terms of the deal, that he really could see himself here long term. Yeah,
that's what I mean. I love that, about Mike, that he really wanted to stay here. He believes in what we're doing. And, listen, the business side of it is one thing, but when a player really loves it here and feels that we have something good going and that we can win here, that means more to me than the financial part. So the investment that he and his family are making in their lives with us means more than anything.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dave Campbell.
Hey, Bill, I was just wondering, long term, do you see Michael still as a center? Could you play some wing? Or are you just wondering what kind of your projections are on how he best fits?
Mike's a center.
Yeah.
Mike's a center. I think, size, right shot, penalty killing, his face-offs, all those. Mike's just a center. That's what he is. I mean, if I've learned one thing over the last, 15 years on this side of the business, that anybody can play wing. So.
The best place to go for all your Minnesota Wild audio needs is the official Minnesota Wild podcast presented by Acrisure. Everything Minnesota Wild related, including highlights, press conferences, players, coaches, general managers, and more. It's available on the official Minnesota Wild podcast presented by Acrisure. It's all just a click away at wild.com/podcast.